Bonjour, it's Marianne. Are you wondering how to store and launder your wool and cashmere sweaters? Well, don't go away, because in this video I am going to show you how we French women take care of them. If you are new to my channel, a big welcome to you, and please subscribe and click on the little bell to receive the notification. Thank you. Many of you have asked me this question: how can I take care of my wool and cashmere or angora or merino wool sweaters or other pieces, other garments like dresses, for instance? Looking after your clothes starts before you even buy them. First of all, you need to buy of the best quality you can afford, so that you know that the garment can be looked after and will last a long time. And the second thing to do is, of course, to inspect the garment to see that whether it is of the best quality and the quality that you are expecting. So now you have bought your wool or cashmere sweater. What do? The first thing I like to do is to look at the label. So you have a look at the content of the wool and also the washing instructions for the next time you're going to launder your sweater, so you don't forget. Of course, you have it here. I just always like to look at this. So it tells you here, for instance, in this sweater, it tells me to wash by hand, not to dry clean, not to tumble dry, and to dry flat. So that I'm going to remember for the next time I'm going to launder my sweaters. But of course, this advice can be applied, with to the other wool sweaters. Bearing in mind, some may differ a little bit. So always knowing how to launder your sweater, having a look at the label is always, the thing you need to do before you launder. But we'll talk about launder in a minute. So now, how to store your sweater. So whether you have just worn it or just received it, the best thing to do is to fold it. Do not put it in a bowl. Do not just throw it on the back of a chair or, heaven forbid, on the floor. You need to fold it, because things in wool do not do well when they are put in a bowl. So remember to fold. So they can be hang for a little while, very small time, because they will go out of shape at the shoulders, and also if you're going to hang them on the hangers, choose the wooden ones. They're quite wide here, but certainly not the wire hangers that you get from the dry cleaners. Really, you shouldn't really use those wire hangers for anything. They're really bad. So now you have folded them. The thing to do is to have a look that they're not cramped up against one side of your cupboard, of your wardrobe, and that they're well folded. Have a look. There's nothing that could snag them. If you have an old wardrobe or sometimes something with a visible screws or something, have a look that they don't snag your sweaters. So you can wear your wool or cashmere sweaters about 4 or 5 times before you launder them. What you can do in between times that you wear them, if you just air them flat, for instance, and you don't have to launder them every time you wear them. And because it's a natural fiber, if there's a little bit of a few smells, they will go away. So it's a nice little tip to know. Many of you have asked me, Marianne, what about moth? Or we call them limit. So you can use natural products, natural repellents. So you can use Cedar Blocks, or you can use lavender. So you can use, this one is filled with lavender. It's really nice. And also you can use, which is even better than this, is those little bouquets, those little bunches of lavender. And you put them, on the side of your sweater. Be careful they do not touch your sweater, because the oil could stain them. But if you put them, at the back maybe, or just, around them, so it repels the moth. And this is a very good natural product that does the trick. So now you have worn your sweater 4 or 5 times, and it is the time to wash it. So what do? Well, the one thing you do not do is put it in a bowl and throw it in your wash basket. Put it inside out and fold it. because again, I'm going to remind you that when you put them in a bowl, wool does not really do well with that. It kind of breaks and damages the fiber. One thing to do just before you wash your sweater is to inspect it. Inspect, under the arms, is there any hole, or at the neckline, or on the side, to see if there's any hole, or to see if there's something wrong with it. So you could do the repair before laundering it, because for instance, if there's a little hole and you wash it, that could make the hole a little bit wider, a little bit larger. So it's better to inspect your sweater just before you wash it. So you can wash your wool sweater in two ways, either by hand or either by washing machine. So of course it's inside out. As I wash all my clothes inside out, it protects them a little bit more. So your sweater inside out in cold water. Okay? And I like to use something specific for wool, because if you use normal washing detergent, it contains something inside that will damage the wool. So never ever wash your cashmere sweaters or sweaters of any wool, like Angora or lamb's wool or merino, with something that is not special for wool. Okay, so I've got this one, the one I use. We call it in French woolit, but it's woolite. But you have, of course, other brands that are specific for wool. Also, if you haven't got any of that, something else you can use is baby shampoo, because it's really kind to baby's hair, and of course, this is natural fiber, so that it will not be damaged. That will be enough. After it's rinsed, it will still smell a little bit nice, but do not use any conditioner. So how do I wash it by hand? Is not to rub and be really brisk. You can let it sit in the water a little while, and and do this. Do not use harsh movement and pull or anything like that, or heaven forbid do this. Really gentle for all your wool products, because otherwise you will damage the fiber. And at the end, once you have washed your garment, do not wring it like this, but squeeze the garment gently so that it presses the water out. So now, if you prefer to wash your wool garment in the washing machine, always make sure that the washing machine has the cycle, especially for wool. So the new washing machines do this, but do it. Of course, it has to be a cold cycle. So cold cycle for washing machine go up to 20 or 30 degrees. So that is fine, but nothing more than that. Otherwise, your sweater, in size medium, will be big enough for a child. So many women complain about peeling, or peloché, as we say in French, and you have all these little bubbles, and you want, oh, my jumper is full of bubbles, what do I do? So one thing to do to avoid that, or trying to avoid that, is washing your wool garments together in the washing machine. Just put them like this. What you can do is, of course, put it inside out and put it in one of those wash bags. You have them anywhere now. I'll put a few links below this video if you're looking to get some of these. So you put your sweater inside out in this bag. This bag is good as well, because you see sometimes this can get caught in other clothes, but this one goes in like this. So the zip is safe now. So you put your sweater in that, and you put in the machine normally, and it will not get damaged this way. So what about the spin cycle? So many people say, use a gentle spin cycle. It's better for the wool. But if you do this, your sweater will be full of water for longer. What is best is to use a fast cycle. So in a fast spin cycle, your sweater with this fast force centrifuge, the centrifugal force, will be stuck against the wall of the washing machine, and the water will disperse out, and your sweater this way will be well supported. So this way your sweater will not stretch. In the fast spin cycle, more water is removed, so your sweater will be lighter, won't have much water after it, so that it dries faster. And it's better for wool to dry faster than over a long time, because if your home is cold, for instance, and you dry it It may take up to 2 days to dry. There's a lot of water, and it may smell a little bit. So less water is always better. Try that. So now your sweater has been washed. What about the drying? How do you dry them? The best thing to do is not to hang them. Do not hang them, or they'll go out of shape. You need to do is dry them flat. How can you dry them flat? So use, for instance, a towel. This is what I do. 100% cotton towel, and you lay it flat somewhere, and you put your sweater over it flat. And the good thing about that is that it will not go out of shape, but also when it is dry, you can wear it. You may not need to iron it at all, especially cashmere. Cashmere really, you start putting it on, and even if you had a little crease, with the heat of your body, it's irons itself. It's the crease disappears. So it's a really good tip. So some of you want to iron your wool garments. Of course, you can do it at a low temperature, inside out, and with steam. So, but try to iron really quickly, so you don't stay too long on the with heat on your wool, because this may really damage it. And again, you fold it once it's cool, and back to where you store it usually. And another thing now, what about the bubbling? If you have some bubble of the peeling that we're talking about, what can you do? So I have this little gadget, and it works wonders. So this is the little gadget. So you will pass this over your clothes, and it has a couple of batteries there. And when it's on like this, so you make it in circle, over your wool sweater, and it removes those little bubbles, those little peeling. Looking after our clothes is something us French women do, because as we buy of a good quality, and our clothes last longer, and in order for them to last longer, they need to be well looked after. And you take care of your clothes, and they look after you. Do you have other tips or advice on how you look after your wool and cashmere sweaters? Please let us know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one. Au revoir.